Hey there. I'll turn the fan off. It can't be background noise. Maybe it's distracting. I don't know. I want you to tell me what I forgot to do. But just in case you knew, I forgot to turn the light on. Adjust. I'm gonna go close that door. What's good with y'all? It's your boy, Big Yak. And we is back. Back with a what? Back with a what, you ask? Another fucking banger. Yeah, just got up in your shit. What you gonna do about it? Not a motherfucking thing. Someone sent me an invitation on the game. Say no. So in the last video, you feel me? I told you I was gonna do something a little bit different. So I'm explaining that. Boom. I'm 19. Live in Baltimore. I invest. And by invest, I do not mean Forex. I actually really might start Forex. Like I really want to try Forex. I ain't gonna lie, but I'm gonna try it a little bit later. I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna try it a little later. But right now, I invest. I invest in Robinhood. That's an investment app, and I do Acorns. All right, Acorns. You know what I'm saying? It's mostly like, it's kind of like a retirement plan type of investing app where you like save up money, like you save money from purchases and shit like that. If you would do it yourself, I don't want to get in detail about it. If you want me to do that, tell me in the comments if you want me to get in detail about the app and about what it does. And Robinhood is different from Acorns in that the fact that the app, you literally investing in a company. Acorns, they invest in companies for you depending on your portfolio. They will invest in those companies, how aggressive you want them to do that with your money that you have put into the app. You feel me? They invest for you. You don't pick the companies that you invest into. But Robinhood, you do pick the companies you invest into. Had to remember the thought. All right. So me, I'm not really an expert on it, so I'm not going to tell y'all what y'all should do and what y'all should not do, but I do highly recommend investing. But I follow a YouTuber, his name's Bryson. Go subscribe, turn on Bryson's notifications bell if you are a young investor and you do want to continue your work. You feel me? Right. So I subscribe to him, and he basically he's an accountant, and he does investment videos every single day and makes up videos every single day. You feel me? Not make up, but he does do videos every single day. Right. So we are going to listen to Tommy today. All right? That's what we're doing today. We're listening to Tommy, all right? And let me slide that back a little bit. Just a little bit. And turn that right here. Right there. Yeah, I don't got the hoodie on today either. Long Johns. Toasty. So listen, pay attention, and maybe you'll learn something. But this isn't about the app. This is actually about debt. You feel me? This is what the video is about. It's about debt. Feel me? And since I'm young, my viewers might be young, I want y'all to know how to not be in debt. And if you are in debt, try to learn the best decisions for you to get out of that. life. Bang.
Hey guys, Bryson here, and today I'm going to tell you guys the truth. And the truth is, I owe around $50,000. If I paid $50K today, I would be 100% debt free.
Right.
And by the way, I've seen videos on YouTube on the same topic over and over again, and people literally start crying in tears because of how much money they actually owe and because they're so stressed out about it. But that's not that type of video, although I'm not gonna cry here, honestly, right? Let's be honest here, because in reality, to me, when I think about debt, I think about math, and math is numbers, and math always has a solution. So in reality, although I have this debt, this video is more about like, hey, why do I have this debt? How did I get this debt? And on top of that, does it make financial sense to pay off this debt in full? Or for example, should I postpone that and pay it off later on and invest my money today? And that is exactly what this video is about today. Now, if you're new here, guys, I post videos every single day. So make sure to also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to get notified. And on top of that, also destroy the like button. Now, the first debt I actually have is called student loan debt. And today, I owe around $20,963.88. Tell me, why include the cents? They're just pennies. Well, if I pay off the 20K and leave those cents right there, in reality, they will still charge me for it, and that's why I have to include it. Now, if you guys don't know, I'm an accountant. I got a bachelor's degree in accounting, and although I never got a traditional accounting job, I did use my degree to start a business helping small businesses, and that business did make me a lot of money. So I used it in my own way. Now, when it comes to this video and debt, why I got it, how I got it, is it good, is it bad, I'm going to talk about three main things here. And those things are basically the cost of debt, okay? On top of that, the ROI, the return on my investments. In this case, the investment was actually the debt. And on top of that, the investment potential, if I paid that debt in full today, or for example, if I didn't do that and I just invested the money, what would be the difference and which option is actually best? Well, the first thing is this, guys, okay? When it comes to my debt, here is how much money is actually costing me every single year. Well, in reality, guys, because of everything going on right now with the whole pandemic, well, there is no interest actually being charged or paid to them or any payments at all. So in reality, currently, it's actually free. So we don't know when exactly everything is going to go back to normal and be like, hey, you have to make payments, but for right now, I'm not making any payments whatsoever. And on top of that, it's not costing me $1. So it's basically free. But in reality, my student loan debt costs me around 4.6% in interest annually, every single year. So if you wonder, tell me, well, how much is that when you owe $20,930 or $63.88? Well, the answer is it costs me around $964.33 every single year in interest, okay? That's how much money it actually cost me. Now, if I got a loan consolidation loan, well, I could actually pay around $200 every single month and be done with that debt by around 2040. So year 2040. So 20 years later, I will be done with that entire debt. And that means that basically if I did that, I would have a very low payment every single month and be done with it in 20 years or so, okay? That's the core idea when it comes to like, hey, here's how much my loan is actually costing me. Now, when it comes to the ROI of this debt, this $21,000 almost, right? The answer is that although $21,000 is a ton of money to actually have or actually owe, in reality, I use around 10K of that money to actually go ahead and start a business with my accounting skills and help small businesses. And that money, that 10K initially, plus the 11K from like the other like student loan debt, like the normal student loan debt, well, all that money has been used for basically a business, right? The skill of accounting and also the 10K to start the business. In reality, this money right here has made me around between $150,000 all the way up to $200,000. So obviously, the ROI is almost around 400% on the money I actually owe. So in reality, it made a lot of financial sense to go out there, use that money to get the skill of accounting, and also 10K to start the business to go out there and start a business. By the way, what I did was very simple. I went to small businesses because basically no one was targeting them, and I went to them and I offered my skills and also offered to get them capital, and that's how I started to build my money step by step. So from 10K to 150K to 200K is not that bad if you ask me, okay? But it's all about return on your investment. And by the way, it just wasn't the money, but also the skill of an accountant, because I can always go ahead and sell that skill if I want to. And that same thing applies for, hey, if you got a degree and it costs you 100K, but you make 150K or 200K, well, in reality, that is a great ROI, a great return on your investment. But I always recommend, okay, make sure you get a job, get scholarships. That way you don't owe that much money, because in reality, if I didn't get a scholarship, or for example, even have jobs on the side, I wouldn't have actually paid 21K. I would actually ended up paying like around close to like 60 to 80K, okay? And that's a lot more money than just owing like $21,000 in student loan debt. So always have a job, make payments. On top of that, apply for every single scholarship out there. Now, when it comes to, well, Tommy, what would be the difference if you actually paid off all this money, or for example, just invested all this money? Okay, so what is the investment potential of this debt right here? Well, mathematically, it's a pretty simple idea, right? And you can calculate it basically with a loan calculator online on Google. Very simple to actually do. Just put in your numbers and everything is going to pop up. Well, in my case, if I paid $200, okay, every single month for 20 years, and I'll be done with this entire debt right here, right? In reality, I would pay around $15,000 extra just in interest. So I would basically pay almost double the money I actually owe today, but just in interest. Now, say for example, I grab that $21,000 I actually owe and basically put it maybe into an index fund that pays me around 8% every single year. Well, in reality, if I left it there for 20 years, that money would be around $97,000 20 years later. So in reality, although that student loan debt cost me around like $35,000 to $38,000, well, comparatively to actually making 97K, it doesn't really make that sense mathematically to pay off that debt in full. That's the core idea here. So mathematically, it always usually gonna make sense to basically just invest that money today, leave it there until the life of the loan, and that way you'll have a lot more money invested versus just paying off that debt, okay? Because if you actually think about it, guys, okay, that 97K in investment money that I will have in those 20 years, well, guess what? That's around 4x the money that I actually owe today, which is around $21,000. So it makes a lot of sense financially, mathematically, to go ahead and invest the money and just make the payments, because either way, whether you pay the interest, well, in reality, in the end, you'll make a lot more money just by investing the money today. But that's assuming that you have all the money today, the 21K, to invest today and leave it there for those 20 years to actually come. So if you ask me, Tommy, then what exactly is your strategy? Well, you have the first strategy, mathematically, right? Mathematically, the best strategy is basically make the minimum payments over the 20-year period, and then grab that 21K today, invest it, leave it there, and in the end, your investments will pay the interest and also the capital, and you'll still have a hefty profit to keep for yourself. But there is a second strategy that actually pays you a lot more money and also gives you a lot more peace of mind. Say, for example, you actually paid off all that debt, that 21K today, in full. And you might say, Tommy, but that's stupid, right? Because basically the interest is low, so basically your investments will actually grow more, so why not just invest the money? Well, follow along here, okay? The idea is that if I paid off that 21K today in full, and instead of making those payments of $200 every single month towards my debt, I grabbed that money and invested it every single month for 20 years, well, at the end of those 20 years, invested $200 every single month at an 8% return, I would have around $118,000 invested. Well, tell me why though? Because basically, $200 over 20 years is around like $48,000 invested, okay? So that's why the math actually makes sense, and that's why you'll have even more money invested. And also, guess what? It's going to help you out with peace of mind, because literally you won't owe anybody any money also. So the answer is not always black and white. It's not always like, hey, you know, just pay off the money today and be done with it. Or for example, don't pay it off and just invest the money, because basically you can leverage it out and make a ton of money. In reality, at least with this debt right here over 20 years, it's actually better off if I pay it off in full today and just invest minimum payments every single month over a long period of time, and then boom, I'll have a lot of money. But usually,
That was for the ladies.
if your debt
Not for
is
the boys.
anywhere around maybe
I'm not saying like
6% or maybe
I'm gonna hold it against you,
5%
but
in interest
it works
every
for you
single
either.
year, usually it makes financial sense to go ahead and pay it off as fast as possible. If it's going to be paid off in full within 1, to 3 years usually. But if you're going to go 10 years trying to pay it off in full, like super fast, in reality, you're better off just trying to basically invest money also, so you also have money compounded on the side, okay? Because 10 years of paying debts versus 10 years of also investing even a small amount of money is a big difference. But only like 1 year or 3 years of just like debt payments, that's no big deal, at least mathematically, okay? So keep that in mind. Always run the numbers. It's not as simple. It's not just black and white. Now, my second debt is actually a business loan, okay? And I actually owe around $28,800 from my EIDL loan that I actually got, okay? And the idea is that this loan is actually going to be used for keeping up with payroll and also keeping up with the bills of the business that I actually have, which is basically in this case, YouTube, okay? Now, you might be asking me, Tommy, okay, so let's go over all the math here, okay? How much is it going to cost you? On top of that, what's the ROI? And also, what's the investment potential if you paid off that debt today, or for example, left it there over the life of the entire loan? We're going to break everything down right now. The first thing is this, okay? This loan is costing me around 3.75% every single year, but I don't have to make a payment for around 10 more months, so it's basically growing at nothing. Right now, it's not doing anything. Right now, the loan is basically free for around 10 months or so, okay? Because it's basically how it works with the EIDL loan, okay? Now, there is one thing that's very important here. It means that if it's charging me 3.75%, it's costing me around $1,050 every single year. On top of that, they actually gave me 30 years to pay this debt off in full. So basically, if I make payments of $133 over 30 years, I will be done with that debt in full. But it would cost you around $19,215 in interest. Now you might say, Tommy, that's a lot of money, but because the loan is actually for 30 years and not 20 years of my student loan debt, and because it's actually at a 3.75 and not a 4.6% like my student loan debt, in reality, it's cheaper and also for a longer period of time. So reality is actually a little bit more complicated, okay? But before I get to the math and how much money it'll make me, let's talk about exactly the ROI on this debt right here. And the answer is that this debt basically keeps everything with my business stable for around 8 to 9 months or so, because basically this loan is going to be used for payroll and also
end of the ad.
bills.
Sorry.
So that way everything is going softly and that way everything is going smoothly. That's the core idea of the ROI of this debt, okay? Now, there is one thing to keep in mind here. Because I have an S Corp, the payroll I pay myself, usually I grab all that money and basically invest almost around 100% of it. That's usually what I do with the money I pay myself on payroll, okay? Distributions are a different thing. That's another video for another day. But the payroll money I pay myself, the salary I pay myself, I use 100% of it and I go ahead and I invest it. And that's around $48,000 every single year. So just keep that in mind there when it comes to the ROI on this loan right here. Now when it comes to investment potential of this debt right here, well, guess what, guys, okay? The truth is that over 30 years, making payments of around $133 with interest and capital, it would cost me a total of around $48,015 and also 82 cents, okay? It's a lot of money, I know. But in reality, if I grabbed that $28,800 and just invested it there at an 8% return over 30 years, well, that's a lot of time, right? So in 30 years, I would have a total of around $289,000 in my investment portfolio. But for example, if I just paid off that debt in full and basically invested the $133 every single month, right, to basically just get the offset, well, the idea is that I would actually make around $195K in that 30-year period. So obviously, my strategy is very simple. I'm not going to actually pay it off in full at all. I'll pay that $133 every single month, but I'll also invest that $28,800, and basically by the time that 30 years hits, I've already made around $289,000. So although they make off me $19,000, I actually make around what, like $289,000, which is actually a ton of money. So overall, guys, the idea for this video is to show you that basically mathematically sometimes it makes sense to pay off the debt in full, be done with it 1 to 2 years, boom, you're done. But sometimes it makes sense financially to grab that debt and just make it as long as possible and just invest the difference, and that way you'll have a lot more money in the end. But there is one thing to keep in mind here. The general idea of this video is that basically I'm grabbing the money and basically investing it and putting it to work. But if all you're doing with the money is basically grabbing it and spending on something else, then you're actually not doing anything whatsoever, and you're better off just paying the debt and being done with it. So keep that in mind, okay? So that's how this works, guys. But guys, comment down below and let me know, what are you going to do when it comes to your debt? Was this video helpful, and do you have student loan debt? And if you do, comment down below and let me know. And by the way,
Comment
don't
down
forget
below,
here,
let them
okay,
know.
I did not mention credit card debt, personal loans, or any debt that's above a 6% interest rate, because in reality, I don't have any of those because they cost way too much money, and they actually don't have any benefits whatsoever when it comes to investing the difference. So when you have credit card debt or a personal loan like around 7% or 6% interest rate, you're just better off paying it off in full and then going ahead and investing the difference after you're done with that debt, okay? Because it's costing you too much money, so the investments won't even make a dent comparatively to how much that debt is actually costing you. So keep that in mind. But guys, that's about it for this video. Comment down below, let me know if it was helpful. On top of that, if you like this video right here, well, like this video. On top of that, if you're new here, subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified. And before I go, if you want to talk to me one-on-one, or for example, text me, just subscribe to my Patreon, link down below, or just DM me on Instagram at Bryson. And before I go, if you want to watch this video exactly and how I pay off my debts when I had credit card debts, watch the video right here and click on. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and as always,
All right, that's the video. But I want to talk to you real quick, all right? So he talked about a lot of stuff in that video, right? He talked about interest rates, talked about how much his money would compound over time with the investments, which would pay off his investments. But, you know, with the, I said pay off his investments, pay off his debts. But, you know, since when debts sit, it has interest rates, so it grows. So he said that's where I think the 19,000 came in, you feel me? So with the 289,000 that he would make, it would take that 19,000 out of that 289. But he still got like $270,000 left. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of motherfucking money. Money, 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 money. Money. All right. What else I was ready to say? Because I was getting goofy. What else I was ready to say? Yeah. So I know all of y'all are probably not big money people. Not big money people. I'm not saying you don't want money, but I said big money people. What did I say? Big math people, you feel me? I'm not either. So he's talking about a lot of numbers and a lot of stuff that you might really went straight over your head. You was like, in one ear, out the other. Whoosh. But if it didn't, or if it did, I would suggest that you go to his channel, watch his videos, or go to Google or rewatch this video. You feel me? And go find information, go learn new stuff. You feel me? I want you to be able to get your money up. Don't get your funny up too. They say get your money up, don't get your funny up. I say get both up, cause hey, I funny and I got money. No, I don't. I'm broke as shit right now. Chip. But I encourage and suggest everybody to try to invest. Or if you don't want to invest, if you don't want to invest and you don't do that, I would encourage you to find a hobby or anything on the side that can make you some more money. You feel me? Because Black Power, you feel me? We gotta stick together. We gotta stay strong. And we gotta get right, bro.